Now to Bangladesh, where a tribunal is seeking the extradition of the ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina from India. The chief prosecutor says Hasina is wanted for overseeing what he called massacres during a government crackdown on student protests. Hasina fled to India last month when an uprising ended her 15-year rule. Her government had long been accused of abuses, including mass detentions and the killing of political opponents. Demonstrators are now demanding that she be brought back to Bangladesh to face justice. Let's go through this with Fawa Arma. She's the Director of South Asia Initiatives at the Asia Society Policy Institute and joins us from New York. Welcome to DW. Let's start with this tribunal. What is it? Who are they?
So this tribunal was set up by Sheikh Hasina in 2010, basically to investigate the atrocities that were conducted during the 1970 War of Liberation. But it was, and a number of opposition leaders over the years have been tried by the Sheikh Hasina government as being involved with sort of like supporting the atrocities of the 1971 war. But how it ties to this episode here right now, what we're seeing is basically the International Crimes Tribunals Act of 1973, which was set up by the Bangladesh government at that time to provide for the detention or the prosecution punishment of people who committed genocides or crime against humanity, or any other crimes that were recognized under the international law. So the complaints that were filed to the ICT were basically within that same nature, where they see the event that took place between July and August as crimes against humanity to be tried within this tribunal.
Okay, so we've had reports of lots of public servants and officials from the previous Hasina government have resigned or been chased out of office. Given this massive public antipathy, does the Prime Minister actually stand any chance of getting a fair hearing?
Well, that remains to be seen. I think there's a lot of evidence that needs to be collected right now for the tribunal to carry out the trials should Hasina be extradited and be brought back to Bangladesh. And it is not easy to collect that evidence, but there are a number of cases against her. So that is something that is going to be, very much dependent on the kind of evidence that can be brought to the table for the trial. And as the chief prosecutor has indicated, the trial will be conducted with justice in mind for those who were victims of the events that took place between July and August, and also making sure that the perpetrators are held accountable. So I think that will be the line of on which the trial will be conducted, and how Sheikh Hasina and others who were seen to be involved charged or not charged.
Relations between Bangladesh and India have been fraught. Bangladesh seeks Hasina's extradition. What's India likely to do?
There is an extradition treaty which makes it builds the legal case for Bangladesh to ask Hasina to be extradited by the government of India. But there is, there's this principle of dual criminality that goes into it, where both countries have to see this or recognize this as a crime for the said person to be extradited or to be seen as a punishable offense in both countries, really, to make the grounds for extradition to happen. It is there is the possibility within the treaty itself, which was signed in 2013 during Hasina's rule, where the other party can deny the extradition based if they see the punishable offense or the offense as something that of a political nature. But the evidence is really concrete, and the allegations, the way they seem to be coming up, and the cases that seem to be building up, it might be tricky to do that for India. But India has held its stance very clearly since Sheikh Hasina arrived in India, and the Minister of External Affairs said that she did arrive on a short notice, and there's a lot that remains to be seen. It'll be a tricky task, of course, diplomatically for India to navigate, but there has been interest to keep the relationship stable. There has been an interest in order to make sure that a relationship with the new stakeholders could be built, and it is of interest for both countries to keep their relationship stable. So it remains to be seen how India will navigate this, but from a formal perspective, we haven't heard from India just as yet.
Okay, thank you for that. Fawa Arma from the Asia Society Policy Institute.
Thank you.